Hello.
Hi. Oh, okay,
Can you
good.
hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm sorry. I
Okay.
was trying to adjust something on the camera. It's so good to see you. I have, first of all, like a newfound love of oils,
Mm-hmm.
um, especially on my face. It's kind of like, I don't know
Oh, yeah.
why more people aren't talking about this. I don't know
Yeah,
why I'd ever go back to using like the cream store-bought junk that I was using.
I know. I've talked to a lot of people. I've done a lot of events in person lately, and I've noticed that a lot of people are like, they know what facial oils are, and they're really excited about them. And yeah, it's nice because there's no like added chemicals to them because it's just pure oil that's so good for your skin. But I do get some people that are like, isn't it kind of like bad to put oil on your face? Because my face is already oily. But there's a lot of misconceptions, but overall, oils are amazing.
Okay, so let's talk about what is your company?
I run a all natural skincare line called Lagom Body Co. So everything is based in herbalism. So I use like whole plants. You can see some behind me for the video people. And I infuse them in oil, and I use a lot of powders and clays and petals and flowers and all my stuff. And right now, all my products are for the face. So I do a lot of facial oils, facial tonics, clay masks, and then lip balms. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm going to expand eventually to men and baby stuff.
All right, so why?
But
Why? I mean, what's your background? I just got off actually another interview
yeah,
with an herbalist, or she's
right.
apprenticing, and but it's more of
Yeah.
like a medicinal consuming type of an
Mhm.
herbal practice. And so,
Cool.
how did you get into things that you can apply on for more of the beauty aspect of it?
I think it's a loaded question and a loaded answer. But when I was a kid, my aunt was a huge influence in my life, and she is a master gardener and an herbalist as well. And so I remember her taking me out on nature walks and showing me plants and pointing out flowers and just building that relationship with plants as at a young age. And then as I got older, I became vegetarian and then naturally just became more aware of what I was putting in my body and on my skin. And I mean, it's crazy the amount of chemicals that are in, especially women's skincare products. So skincare has always been something that I've loved, and I've loved like doing the whole DIY thing. So I've been DIYing them, probably not since I've been a vegetarian, but shortly thereafter, and then sharing it with my friends and family, getting really good feedback, and then deciding, you know what, I'm going to try this as a business and see how it goes. So, um, yeah, I did a bit of coaching and online business a while ago, and I transitioned more into product-based business. And for me, that makes a lot more sense. I'm an artist. I love being outside. I love plants, and so it's like the perfect marriage of the two things that I love.
Well, that's what I was going to ask: is
Yeah.
why products? I mean, why not a coaching thing like you
Hmm.
said, or more content?
Yeah.
I mean, diving deeper into the product piece, because that is just when I think about creating a product, it makes me feel stressed. It sounds like so much work. I
Yeah.
mean, just behind creating the label, how to distribute it to people. So, why
Yeah.
products?
So for me, the biggest reason why I got into starting this business as opposed to continuing on with coaching and doing digital businesses and online workshops and whatnot, because that's what I was doing a few years ago, and I was really interested in it. But for me, I need to be grounded in the world around me, and I felt like the digital entrepreneurship profession wasn't really fitting with my need for that. And I love offering products that are useful and practical. It's like, here's a product that you can use and you can get immediate, well, maybe not immediate, but you can get very visual, um, uh, like you can just see it working and you can tell that it's being effective, which with coaching, it's a little bit different, right? It's like more in depth. So for me, products are really a good way also to just ground because so much of our lives are just like crazy busy and all online and really fast moving. So it is a lot of work because I literally do everything from sourcing ingredients and working with wholesalers and doing the labels, printing the labels, it's constant. There's always something to be done. But for me, it makes me feel grounded in a way. So I feel like
it's funny that you say that. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel like I'm a minority in that, I suppose, because a lot of people love like just selling stuff online that are digital products. But for me, physical is my thing.
I don't think you're necessarily a minority because I understand where you're coming from. I do. Yeah. So I've done freelance for editing, and where I'm stuck right now personally with, do I want to build this out as a business? And I don't get me wrong, I love editing video, but there's something within me that I want to create something that's my own, that's tangible, that it's something I've created, and then I use my talents in video and all the other things to market that, like something that's my own. So I totally understand where you're coming from. So how did you make that transition?
It feels really good to like stand in front of a customer when they buy something from you and see them walk away with it. You're like, yes, it feels like a baby almost, and someone else is taking it home with them, but in a good way. But so I still work. So I still am working full time, and I do content. So I'm, 40 hours of the week doing online content, digital marketing. And so I'm not fully transitioned into the whole making thing. But for me, it just makes me feel more grounded and not so like digitally crazy, because that's something that I definitely feel an effect of when I'm on the computer all day long.
Digitally crazy, I like that.
That's what I feel like.
That is how I feel too. It's something when you live out and you're creating this, like you said, this need that you had to make something tangible versus having everything up here in like the woo-woo, just nothing you can touch and feel. So I totally understand that. So how did you, okay, instead of just asking you a big broad question, why oils? Like why, I know that you had a love for plants and everything like that, but how did you figure out this is the product, this is the exact products that I'm going to put out and sell to people? How did you determine which one you were going to concoct first?
Well, I would not say that it's the easiest choice, because I have a list of products that I want to create, and it's super long. I think for me, I knew that they were effective. I loved them myself. And then I also so when I first started my business, before I was open to the public, I had a beta group that I was working with. So I made products and I sent them all samples of everything to use and give me feedback. And I felt like I got, like the majority of the responses that I got were like, yes, facial oils, I saw such a difference. I just wanted to have a full line that I could offer my customers that made sense. And facial oils and facial tonics are two things that generally go together really well. And facial oils in general are a lot easier. They're a lot more shelf stable than creams are. And so, it's like, so I can sell it to someone and they can keep it for up to a year, as opposed to a cream that's all natural that won't last as long. So I just wanted a full line of products that fit really well together and made sense to my customer base.
And did you have any, I shouldn't say did you have any, what was your startup capital as far as, because you're also working this full-time job and you have expenses to pay.
Right.
What did you devote, I guess, to this?
I think when I first started, so I actually hired a graphic designer with a background in branding, which was really helpful. And I think I spent like $500 on logo and branding, like the colors and just like overall vibe of what I was going for, which was really helpful because I used to hand make all my labels when I was giving them to friends and family. And I was like, I definitely do not want to have to do that. So she helped me design my first set of labels for my first 5 products. So I think in total, I spent maybe like $800 to $1,000 on all of that. And then the most expensive part is packaging and ingredients. Like packaging is crazy expensive. But I think before, like when I first launched, I probably invested, I would say like $2,500 in, that includes the branding, the logo, the initial ingredients and packaging. So like bottles, and then everything to ship it to customers.
How how did you find your bottles and your packaging and that type of a thing?
Yeah, I reached out to some other people to find like other herbalists to see what they were using. And then yeah, Google as well. So I use Specialty Bottle. I think they're based out of Seattle and they're awesome. And then SKS Bottle as well. And they're both fantastic. I think it's Specialty Bottle where you don't have to buy a massive case. So if you only want to buy like 10 bottles of something, like if you're trying a new product out, and you don't want to have to buy a huge case of it. You don't have to invest as much, which is really helpful, especially when you're a small business. And speaking of saving money on packaging, so Sticker Mule is also awesome. I used to use lightning labels for labels. They're pretty, I think they're equivalent to other label makers that are in the industry, but I've been using Sticker Mule lately, and it's way more affordable, especially, and it's the same thing where you can print a smaller amount than having to print out like 250 labels. So that's been really helpful for testing out new products and seeing how my customers respond to it, which has been really fun because it makes it easier for me to change stuff and change my formulations depending on feedback I get.
And then as far as ingredients, and you mentioned reaching out to other herbalists. How did you do that?
So I love Instagram. Instagram is my thing. So I am connected with quite a few herbalists through Instagram. One of them is Lala Earth. So she is also amazing. She like literally goes out and hand forages everything mostly for her products, which is really, really awesome. So yeah, I reached out to her just through Instagram. I think that's one of the best ways to connect with people. And Instagram is super authentic in that way where you can just reach out to someone and you don't always get a response, but I found that people that are in the herbalist and all natural skincare industry have been overall super receptive. I've also been in touch with Cynthia. She runs Being Apothecary and she's based out of Seattle, I believe. And she was super helpful. Like she definitely mentored me the first couple of months before I launched my business. So that was really awesome. I was really surprised. Nice. Yeah, I was really surprised.
I feel like it varies across industries. Like I was just talking to an event planner that she was mentioning how competitive it can be. And you have to find specific like little circles that you can actually feel like people will be responsive to you and answering questions. Has that ever felt competitive in your space?
I have been really, I'm really grateful because everyone that I've reached out to has been really helpful and no one, because you can reach out to people and you can sometimes like in different industries and they might kind of guard their information because they don't want to share it for whatever reason. But I haven't run into that at all with the herbalists that I've been in touch with. I've gotten really good recommendations of where to get ingredients and where to get labels and things to avoid. Cynthia, she gave me a list of things that was like, these are things I would have done differently. So,
oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, see, and I remember back in the day when I was at a YFE LA event and I was sitting there and they were talking about coaching programs and you have to hire a coach. And I remember saying, well, we have to have some type of responsibility as women. And this is like so preachy to be like, okay, you have to give away all your knowledge for free. And I understand like there's value in things and all of that stuff, but I don't know, it just gets so exhausting to think about coaching programs and hiring someone. Why can't I just ask you a question and you give me an answer?
Yeah, I think that was definitely, I used to be in that kind of like coaching realm, but I was never, I love giving away information and helping people out. So, but I did run into that a little bit in that situation. And like digital marketing and the like online coaching realm, it's very much like that where it's, you have to pay for the information, but I really haven't run into that at all. The one thing I would say is that when I'm asking people for help, it's not like, can you help me with formulating my product or give me not that anyone would ask this, I guess, or give it away as well, but like, what is your recipe for one of your products? Like, I'm not asking that. It's just, where do you get your labels from? This is what I'm using. Do you have a better recommendation? Or, Yeah. I mean, anything like that is fair game.
It's a great point as far as what it's
Yeah.
actually of value to that person. To them, the formula is the value, not the
Hmm.
actual creating of the business. So, how did you
Right.
get the first person to purchase that you didn't know? What led up to
Hmm.
that point? Because you were talking about giving away friends and family and hearing their
Yeah.
responses. So, what was the point from going from this is something I'm thinking about doing to actually having someone give you money that you don't know?
That is always the best feeling when I see an order come in. I'm like, I don't know that person. It's awesome. Well, and it's been awesome too because I've been doing a lot of in-person events. So it's the same things. I don't know these people at all, but I'm just talking with them and talking about their skincare woes and health issues and recommending products that can help them out. But leading up to the first sale, um, I feel like I should commemorate it, but I don't remember exactly like who it was. But for me, before like, when I first got started, I started with that beta group that I mentioned. So I sold to them first, just as like a thank you for helping me out. Um, and then kind of like word of mouth got out. And then, oh, Instagram helped me out again. So I joined an Instagram pod. I think that's what they're called. And it was filled with women with similar interests. So there was like a yoga teacher in there. Then there was me with all natural skincare products. And there was a graphic designer who was also just that was like-minded. Um, and so when I first launched my business, a few of them bought from me. And like I've never met them before. And some of them have turned out to become really good friends of mine. So that was really awesome. I definitely like Instagram. It's awesome. Like get on it if you're not, because
What's an Instagram pod?
okay, so I think that's the terminology. So basically it's when you join a group on Instagram of like-minded people that are or people that are within your industry, and every time you post or anytime you want someone to comment on your post, you share your post in that group. And then everyone in the group will go and comment on your post to increase engagement. So just naturally through the people in my Instagram pod from engaging with my content and learning more about all natural skincare products and herbalism and, you know, why I do what I do, that naturally led to those initial sales from them.
Okay,
So,
that is something brand new I've never heard
yeah.
of. I'll have to look.
I think it's relatively new, maybe within the last year. As of course the algorithms for Facebook and Instagram are always changing, and how people see posts on those different channels. So it's been really helpful for me. I don't really participate in that group anymore, but it definitely was really helpful in the beginning of my business.
That is so cool. Do you
Yeah.
sell on in person at all?
Yeah, so I sell, so I'm based right outside of Portland. So I do the Portland Flea and Food, which is every last Sunday of, I think it's like March to November. So I do those events. I do a lot of pop-ups and I meet really awesome people through that. So I've been referred. I also do wholesaling. So I wholesale my products to other people to sell in their spaces. So it's been a great way for me to network with people in Portland and, yeah, just getting my name out there. It's been the most effective way to increase my sales as opposed to online. Cause it just takes a long time to build up your traffic online when you're first getting started. So getting out and in person has really helped. I also did Crafty Wonderland, which is a huge Portland craft and art show that happens in April and December. So did that in April, and yeah, like my sales since then have doubled.
Oh my
So
gosh.
kind of awesome.
So what
Yeah.
has been the number one driver of sales? Is that the in-person stuff, online, or is it all kind of like a melting pot where you don't really know at this point where it all is?
Yeah. I mean, I see trends now, but I feel like I won't really know until, it's like that first year, you don't really know what
Yeah.
is the most effective. So I have some wholesale accounts that I'm working with. And so I'm working with an esthetician here in Vancouver, Washington. And so she uses my products in her facials and her other skincare services. And then she sells my products in person. And then I also, this is kind of random, but I have a connection in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. So they sell my products there in their art gallery. And so having like wholesale is a good consistent income because they're selling products to their customers and then they're purchasing from me. So that's been definitely a good portion of my sales. I would say that's my like top one. And then in person is probably the second most sales. And then online is the third. So
that's interesting because I feel like a lot of people assume that the internet is going to be the first place. But like you said, when you're in person, it's getting harder and harder to have those organic, I guess, connections on Instagram and Facebook. Not to discount it. Like you said, Instagram is totally awesome. And it's funny because I read a blog post the other day where someone was saying, they asked, how do you find some of the clothing that you wear because you're so fashionable, blah, blah, blah. And she said, I search on Instagram for small women-owned businesses. And I thought that's so funny and also very smart.
Yeah, I don't use Instagram like that too much. I think for me personally, I love following like Portland people and I just naturally come across them, but I'm not one to really go search for things, but I know that some people do. And I think it's just depends on like the generation of how people use different platforms. But I've been doing a bit of Facebook and Instagram advertising to increase engagement or at least to see. I've been doing a lot of experimenting and it's definitely been resulting in at least more engagement and also, and some sales as well. So
how did you get in touch with the esthetician or not just in touch, but actually like close that account and have her use your products and recommend them?
So her business is called M's Aesthetics and she's downtown Vancouver. She found me because she's located in the Vancouver Wellness Studio. And I think it's the owner. She saw my business card. I left my business card in a yoga studio. And the owner of the Vancouver Wellness Studio, shared it with Emily. And so she just reached out to me and said, hey, I'm really interested in your products. I would love to try them. I'd love to meet up with you. So I sent her a sample pack. So if anyone's ever interested in my products, I send them a sample of every product for them to try. And she's also cruelty free. So all my products are vegan except one. So she, carries all those products and uses them in her services because they match her values. So
that is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I was like, I need to go get a facial done by her. Like, I haven't yet, but I definitely need to.
Is there anything that I'm trying to end all these conversations with talking about some of the mistakes. And as I've explained to someone else, it's part of the reason why I stop myself sometimes from moving forward on something. I think, what if this doesn't go well? Or what if I just waste my time or my money on this?
Yeah.
And it's important to see that when you make a mistake that these women are still persevering, they're still in business. It's just like, that's part of it. So are there any mistakes that you look back and maybe at the time you didn't see that they were a mistake or? It's all still relatively fresh for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I feel like for me personally, this is the first thing that came to mind is that so both my parents are entrepreneurs and I have always wanted to have my own business, but I just never knew what that would be. And so that was why I started with the coaching because that seemed like something that I could do. And that was fun while I was doing it. But I've definitely started many, many projects. And for me, that's really important to just like go out there and see what works, see what's fun, that's what I always recommend to people is just do it, like do the thing. Regardless if you're afraid or don't know how much it's going to cost you or whatever. I mean, there's ways to mitigate that risk and try to reduce, that risk. But I wouldn't say that I have any mistakes necessarily, but I think we hear the story all the time about entrepreneurs that start many businesses and then many businesses before the successful one fail. I wouldn't say that my past businesses and projects are failures. It's just that I didn't really find my thing. And I think that herbalism and sharing all natural plant powered products with people is my thing. And so this time around, I'm like, yeah, this is my thing. And so I always just really encourage people to just do it, because I know so many people that just sit and think about really amazing ideas and then they just never pursue it. So it's just a matter of, putting one foot in front of the other, doing one single thing a day to move your business forward or your idea, just to see, because you just never know. And I found personally with this business in particular that now that I've gone out there and this is what I do, like, I love it. Other people are, calling me up, like you message me, getting wholesale accounts, like getting emails from more wholesale potentials. It's like once you just put yourself out there, then you just never know what's going to happen. And a lot of times it's really awesome. So, yeah.
So go do the thing. I like it's good advice. A lot of these calls have felt like people are speaking directly to me, but I know other people will benefit from it, and other people are in the same position as me, but I could totally just start to do the thing. That's a great piece of advice. So where can people find you? Check out your oils or your skincare. Where can we find you?
Yeah, so everything that I do is online, of course. So Lagom Body Co. It's LAGOMBODY.co. Everything is online, and that's been super awesome. Also on Instagram, just at Lagom Body Co. Facebook as well, same thing. And I'm really active on Instagram, and I love chatting with people. So definitely check out what's going on over there. There's lots of good herbal advice and product advice and stuff like that. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking with me. I'm going to get back up on video before I let you go.